Hey, this is Beverly. I will not be denied Bozeman. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Be sure and share this broadcast with your friends and your family. I appreciate it so much. My broadcast today is entitled Come from the Bottom of the Boat. There's a story in the Bible, and it is found in Mark 4, verses 35 through 41, where Jesus and the disciples were going from one side of the lake, river, or whatever to the other side. And while they were on the boat, Jesus went down in the bottom of the boat to go to sleep, and this storm came. And the storm was so bad that the guys thought that they were going to drown, that they were going to capsize. So one of the disciples went down to the bottom of the boat and told Jesus, "Look, there's a storm going on. Don't you care? We finna drown. Why you down here asleep? Can you help us?" And Jesus got up, went to the top, stood at the edge of the boat, and said, "Peace, be still." And the storm stopped. The water stopped rocking, and it was just peace all around. And that story reminds me of how we have the power to calm the storms in our lives. Now, sometimes there are things that happen or things that continue that are beyond our control. But for the most part, we do have control over the things that take place in our lives. Most of the time, we choose who we hang out with. We choose how long we hang out with those folks. Sometimes we have a choice of where we work. We have a choice over what we eat and where we live. Now, like I said, sometimes you can and sometimes, you can't. But for the most part, I think that we can, just like in the general sense. But I know for a fact, 100%, I believe that we will have whatever it is that we believe and continually say. I know it. And that's what that particular story is about, especially verse 38 and 39, when he got up and went and spoke to the storm and calmed the storm down, right? I have experienced having what I have said, good and not so good. That's how I know it works. We will have whatever it is that we say. The Bible says that, and I have lived my life doing that. Not all the time, but there have been significant moments in my life to where I have gotten what it was that I believed I was going to have, or what I already had. Speaking those things that be not as though they were, I got them. And I also learned that complaining will give you more of what you don't want. And so we have to take our lives in our own hands by coming to the top of the boat and speaking to our storms. If you are tired of being treated a specific way by a certain person or certain people, you got to speak to those people in the natural and let them know what it's going to be. There's a way to do it professionally, with a nice calm spirit and a nice civil tone. Like you got some sense. That's in the natural. But spiritually, you get by yourself or away from others or whatever, and you have to decree and you have to declare that people will speak to you with respect. Now, keep in mind that you have to be a respectful person too. There's no way that you can expect people to speak to you with respect and you talk ugly to people. That just ain't gonna work out. But I have seen it for myself. Saying what you don't want, or saying what you do want, or what you're gonna have, and believing it, it's gonna give you just that. So if you evaluate your life and you see those areas of your life that need changing, or you desire change, then you got to speak to that situation. You got to say what it's going to be. if you are, okay, let's say, for example, you want to work at a certain place and it's a, it's a good business, it's thriving or whatever, and you really want to work there, then you have to do two things. One is you have to apply to the positions that they have available. And even if those positions aren't available, you can still in some way apply. I don't know. Things are a little different technology wise, because back in the day, you could, send in your resume or stop by and drop off a resume. I don't know if that's the thing that they allow you to do now, because of restrictions or whatever. But unless you can't apply more than once, you can get online and apply on a regular basis. Even if they say we don't have any openings at this time, or you're not the best candidate or whatever, keep applying. And then you need to walk around and say, you don't have to say it out loud to other people, but you can say it to yourself, I'm going to work at such and such. They might as well get ready and, buy you a certain color shirt that you're going to wear on your first day. Plan out how you're going to go to lunch down the street at the little cafe that they got. Go to the cafe and see what they got on the menu. You know what I'm saying? Act like it's already done. That's what I did. When this was way, way back in the day, I wanted to work at a particular bank. And every time I went by the bank, because, it was in a certain part of town. And every time I went past the bank, whether I was by myself or with other people, I said, I'm going to work in that building. That's I'm going to work right there. They had other, locations, but it was that one particular place that I wanted to work at. And I was like, I'm going to work there. I'm going to work there. I would tell people every time, if I was on a date with a dude and we go past, I said, I'm going to be working there one day. Nobody took me seriously. Nobody took me seriously. And nobody was like, oh, yeah, that's a nice place to work. Or, go ahead, girl. Or nothing. Nobody would, cheer me on and say, you got it. But even when there were times when I couldn't go and when I had to go and work at this other place and I couldn't stand being there, I said, well, I'm going to be working at so-and-so soon enough anyway. So, this place don't matter to me. Lo and behold, guess who was working at the bank? I thought I was the stuff too, child. But I started working there in that same place. I did not have an idea of what exactly I was going to be doing, because I just knew that that's what I wanted. So I wasn't too specific, but it wasn't just like a bank where they had just like the tellers and, this was like a center where they had different floors for different things like mortgages and customer service and credit, and all of that. So after I started working there, I realized that was one of the many things that had happened throughout my life. And I realized that I was getting the things that I talked about the most. And I realized that there needed to be some specification in it as well. So saying all of that to say, I know for sure what I'm talking about is the truth. We can speak to our storms. I've spoken to some storms, and the storms have quieted down. They have ceased. They have stopped. So even if you're the type of person to where your storms don't bother you, you just move through life. So you're only focused on the good things and the great things and the things that are going to serve you, then you can speak to those situations to make them better. Everybody's not traumatized by what they're going through in life. Everybody's not slowed down. I'm just really speaking to anybody who can relate, whether you're in a storm or whether, you just take it to the chin and keep on going, bounce back. Some people are just like that, and all they see is the good stuff. Either way, whether it's a storm or whether it's something that you want, you can speak to that situation in an affirmation or a declaration, and you'll have it. The time frame, I can't attest to that part, because there are things that have to take place between the time you say it and the time it actually comes into fruition. There's some things that's just got to take place in between. That's whatever. I haven't gotten that figured out. You do grow in between. You do realize some things. and things about yourself, things about other people. And during that waiting period, it helps to be knowledgeable. So you take the time to study more about the thing or the place or whatever. And from that, who knows? The point of it is to, create the life that you want. So anyways, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I just wanted to give you a piece of homework too. If you're really going through something and it's like something's got to give, I just can't keep going through this, you need to like get a piece of paper and a pen and write out how you want the situation to change. If you're dealing with money issues, you can just write out, I have all the money I need to take care of my living expenses, or I have all the money I need to go on this trip. And, and you got to say it with a sense of surety and a sense of gratitude. I'm so glad. Or you can put it, I am so happy and so grateful now that I have the money that I need for my living expenses. Or I'm so happy and grateful that I have the money to go on this trip. And feel excited about it, because it's gonna happen. You just gotta believe that it's gonna happen. And don't tell nobody. Come on, cuz that's one of the things that kind of pokes holes in our happiness, in our plans, in our joy, because we tell people. We gotta stop telling everybody everything. And it's just, that's a whole video I'm gonna do later about that. But everybody's not going to be happy for you because you're not thinking like them anymore. You're not, woe is me, and yes, oh child, they say, and I heard, and I don't know how much more. The woe is me, your bottom lip dragging on the ground. It's time out for that. And it's time out for hanging with the folks that do that if you are trying to do better, have better, and be better. Now, if you're okay with the woe is me and the pity parties and all that stuff, then that's just what it is. You don't need to be writing no declarations anyway. You all right with life the way it is. But for those who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and for those who want better because you know that better is out there, you see it. You see other people living the life, and you question, why can't I live like that? If that's you, then no more pity parties. No more talking to folks who are okay with life the way it is, and you know good T well that life is not okay the way it is. Get you a pen, get you a paper, put it in your phone in the notes. If you have a smartphone, however you got to do it. And write out your declarations and speak to your storm. Who else is going to do it? I'm not. I'm too busy speaking to my own stuff. And nobody else in your life is going to speak declarations to you or over you on a regular basis. You might get an attaboy. You might get some encouraging words every now and again. But this is something that's got to be done daily. If you want to see transformation, if you want to live the best that life has to offer for you, hey, you're going to have to get into it every day. And ain't nobody gonna go harder for you than you. Nobody in their right mind. If they are going harder for you, then you're going harder for you, then they crazy. I was messing. If they going harder for you, then you going harder for you. You're not gonna last long. Not in that. Not whatever it is that they're trying to believe in you for. Write it down. That's your homework. Write down, I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. Just one thing. Just do one thing. Don't do a whole sheet. Just focus on one thing. As long as it's not bothering nobody else, it's not going to hinder nobody else, it's not illegal, immoral, or unethical. Just do the one thing every day and talk about it. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am walking in great health. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am happy and have peace. Anyways, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Be sure to release your genius. pull off the impossible every day. Remember, you will have whatever it is that you say. So be positive when you speak, Queen.